Okay, so I don't want to make any promises, but for this exclusive, here's an exclusive for the listeners of this show. This is the 40th year of Garfield.
Yes.
The 40th anniversary of the first comic is on June 19th. We will be releasing, and I haven't even talked to my co-host about this, we will be releasing a 40th anniversary extravaganza episode that will hopefully relaunch the podcast on June 19th, 2018.
Very nice.
So just, stay tuned for that. The podcast is called Now Where Could My Podcast Be? It's a very long, bad name.
I think it's great.
Thank you. But you can find the first two episodes, which are very bad, at soundcloud.com/lasagnafriends. Stay tuned to that feed. I'm sure I'll do something there to let you know that the podcast has moved to wherever it is when I eventually relaunch it. But yes.
Cool.
That is all.
You should watch Justice League because Justice League is great.
Yeah.
The cartoon is amazing and it's not that long. And I think that and Unlimited, it's like 5 seasons max.
Yeah.
And after the first 2 seasons, which you'll be like, oh, this is kind of getting repetitive, this is getting a bit boring with the original 7.
Yeah. That's when they include
then
the
they
whole
just
cast.
go, right, everybody in the boat. Welcome from Hat, the show where we draw a topic out of the hat, just like it says in the title. I'm Ben.
I'm Dom.
I'm Phoenix.
We actually did it right.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. We're getting better.
Yeah.
I think this is the first time I haven't intentionally screwed it up.
Who wants to draw? Dom? Okay.
Dom's drawing.
He
This is an
raised his
audio
hand.
medium. Drop Dead Fred.
Okay.
Yay!
This I can get behind.
Can I use the Drop Dead Fred theme?
Sure thing.
I don't know how I'm going to get it, but I'll use it.
Yeah.
This is Drop Dead Are you familiar with what the Drop Dead Fred theme is?
No, but I know it
It
exists.
exists. That's how it worked.
It's a film.
That's how it worked for my Garfield podcast when I was just trying to decide what the intro is. I just searched in Garfield theme.
Garfield's had like 12.
It was some song by the Baha Men. It was
Oh, yeah?
it worked out really well.
Garfield's old, man.
It is actually the 40th anniversary of Garfield this year.
Garfield is 10 years younger than Doctor Who.
Wow.
It is still going.
Yeah.
It
It's
never
sad
took
that I
a break.
know how... Actually, I think Doctor Who's older than that now.
Well, I mean, the Doctor is like 1 billion years old.
Oh
But he's not a Drop Dead Fred.
Push his glasses up.
That's
He's
true.
not Drop Dead Fred, which is what we're here to talk about today. And I'm so glad you had me on.
So have you all seen Drop Dead Fred?
Long time ago.
Yeah, I was very young, but I remember some key gags from that movie.
And I remember how I was cursed as a child. So let's go with your stuff first, though.
I'm sorry, what?
We'll get to it.
Yeah.
We'll get to it.
I was just going to say that I remember watching Drop Dead Fred because when I was, I think maybe 12-ish, my best mate lived around the corner from us at the time, because, of course.
Yeah.
And he got really big into the young ones.
Good.
I don't know. He was like 1 year older than me. I don't know how he found the young ones, but he did, and he was like, "Ben, we need."
Everyone eventually finds the young ones.
Yeah, he found that, and he was like, "This is British comedy," and I go, "British comedy is amazing." So from there, we watched Bottom, which is the follow up to Young Ones with Rick Mayall and Adrian Edmondson. And from that, he's like, "Ben, I found this movie that Rick Mayall did," and I'm like, "Oh my god, what's it called?" He goes, "It's called Drop Dead Fred." And then I watched Drop Dead Fred, and I was like, well, this is fucking weird, but I love it.
Yeah, see, I it's funny that you mentioned your best friend, because when I was a kid, I didn't find out about this movie until I moved to Newcastle, and the two best friends I made, like, which was, you know, a year into me being in Newcastle, because I'm not that great at making friends, but, you know, once I had these two best friends, both of them said that their favourite movie was Drop Dead Fred.
It's fucking
like,
weird.
and they didn't even, like, know each other that well. But both of their favourite movies were Drop Dead
Maybe
Fred.
that's how they knew each other. They went to a convention, both dressed as Fred, became mates.
Yeah.
You know, like when you were in school and you saw someone wearing like the same outfit as you on out of uniform day, you're like, well, we're best friends now. Or you found someone
That is not how I interpreted that situation.
Definitely not
Yeah,
how
that's
I
a
would.
competition to the death right there.
You gotta flaunt that you're wearing it better than the other person.
I mean, or you find someone with the same name as you. You can't attest to that, Phoenix, because you've got the most unique name I've ever found.
Phoenix isn't that unique.
Yeah.
How
you
many
know
Phoenixes
my brother.
do you know?
I know Ho-Oh from Pokemon.
No, real.
I know, I think 3 Phoenixes other than me.
Well, yeah, because your name is Phoenix. You
That's
attract
not
other
how that works, though.
Yes, it is.
My brother's
I know
name
like
is
12
more...
other Bens, but then again, all Bens are a hive mind.
My brother's name is more unique than
Yeah.
mine. With Sailor.
Sailor.
Or Sablaw, as he calls himself.
Yeah.
That's good, too.
On the social media.
I'm interested into how that came about, but it has nothing to do with Drop Dead Fred.
Oh, I'll tell you how it came about in 2 seconds. He writes really poorly.
I see.
That's so good.
But anyway, so you're cursed as a child?
Yeah, okay. So, as listeners may know, we haven't brought it up in a while, but I was cursed by a witch, and that's why I can't swear.
I don't think we've ever brought that up on Air Phoenix.
We have, at least once.
When?
In passing.
I remember us being cursed by a witch to do this show.
That's also true. I attract witches in other phoenixes.
I
It's
remember
just part of
losing my soul to you in a game of 10-pin bowling.
Yeah, you're still gonna find a way to get that back.
I'll figure it out.
When I was a kid, I watched Drop Dead Fred, and I thought it was the funniest thing ever. And I went up to a witch, and I said one of the lines in it to the witch, and the witch said, "You may never use those words again. Even though it was funny in that movie, you cannot use that word again, and now I'm cursed forever."
This was almost definitely a paid actor by one of your parents.
I'm starting to
This is a
think,
plant.
okay, as someone who knows a thing or two about repressing memories, I'm starting to think that maybe Phoenix was molested as a child.
By a witch.
By an old woman, maybe.
Definitely a witch.
Who his brain has logically created as being a witch.
Who cursed him not to swear?
I don't think he was cursed not to swear, I just think he's traumatized. Look at him.
Do you swear though? You don't swear.
He's
No.
never sworn.
I used
I
to.
think I've heard him say fuck once.
I used to keep that up. I
Yeah,
didn't.
maybe.
I never swore all the way up until year 9, and then I would sort of sleep. I would swear. I think like twice a year from year 9 to about year 11, and then it just became sort of more casual. And I'm disappointed in myself. I want to go back, but it's hard to go back.
Well,
I need a witch to curse.
Yeah.
Do
So
you
that's
have
what
a
happened
number?
to me. No, the witch disappeared after I was cursed.
She turned into a bee and flew away. So Drop Dead Fred is an imaginary friend, yeah?
Yeah. Well,
Not a ghost?
No, he's an imaginary friend.
See, I can't remember that movie that well.
See, this is what was so confusing to me about Drop Dead Fred. It's for the whole movie, it plays it straight as just this sort of setup where there's this imaginary friend and
Yeah.
he gets into all these wacky hijinks. And then right at the end, it turns into this surrealist, trippy thing where they're in a mansion and am I misremembering this?
No, you're remembering it, but for some reason my brain's just no, now we must vividly remember Drop Dead Fred.
I've
So,
got none of that.
I have
I
this-
remember
yeah, I
monkey
know.
bars. At
It's a
one
weird
point.
it's a weird power I have where I forget things and then eventually it'll come back to me in vivid color, like some kind of painting. So, he's the main character who isn't Fred, the girl.
Yeah.
Her imaginary friend as a child was Drop Dead
Dead
Fred.
Fred.
Yes, this is coming back.
And her mother, who Fred refers to as the mega bitch,
Yeah.
Right.
took the kid to therapy because she was too old for imaginary friend. So she forgot about Fred. Then as an adult, I think her husband, her fiance or something cheats on her. So she moves back to her hometown to live with her mum for a bit. And Fred returns. And she's like, I've gone insane. And there's a scene where she goes to the same therapist and
Yeah.
Fred interacts with all the other kids' imaginary
Yeah.
friends, which only he
Good
can see.
scene. Yeah.
Only the kids can see their imaginary friend, and imaginary friends can see other imaginary friends, and that's it. And towards the end of the film, she does go a bit insane and end up in a dream-like sequence
Yeah.
that takes place in a larger version of her childhood home, where Fred releases her from a curse of some kind
Uh-huh.
by being like, all you have to do is kiss me and say my name. Which just, even as a kid, I was like, that doesn't make any sense other than Rick Mayall signed a contract that said he got to kiss the woman.
Of course.
Uh-huh.
And then after that, the girl starts dressing like Fred did, and she goes to get a job as a nanny for her new boyfriend's kid, who now has an imaginary friend that is Drop Dead Fred.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
And it's the same Drop Dead Fred, which means that imaginary friends get recycled, so it's not Foster's rules, which is scary.
See, I was gonna bring in Foster's
Yeah.
for a second and say maybe they lived in the town with Foster's Home for Imaginary Friends. When he went away, just went to the home. When she came back, it's like, you know what? That's it. I'm gonna go back to her, and just left the Foster's Home.
Yeah.
No, but
That seems like a perfect...
Then when he goes away again, he gets adopted by the other kid.
I'd agree, but no one else can see Fred. And
Good
in
point,
Foster's
yeah.
Home, all the imaginary friends can be seen.
Yeah.
We've discussed this.
Are we all forgetting the plot twist final episode of Foster's Home for Imaginary Friends, where Mac, is that the main character's
Yeah.
name?
Yeah.
And all the other humans, they're also imaginary friends, and that's why they can see the other imaginary
Was that
friends?
legit?
No, I'm kidding.
Didn't think so.
For a minute, I was like,
I was like,
remember
I've
this.
watched every episode, and that seems like something that would stick out.
Phoenix never mentioned this to me.
That would suck. That'd be the worst ending ever.
It'd almost be as funny as someone made a fan comic online that it's just Frankie doing the reference to a previous thing we've referenced on this show and real life. That show Mercy Hospital, which is the one that has the connections to all the other
Every
shows.
other
show.
It's just a fan comic of just Frankie at the end of that instead of the kid. So Foster's Home is just a snow globe. And
Right,
it's
yeah.
her imagination. Which also would have sucked.
It would have sucked, yeah.
But enough about what would have sucked. Now back to Drop Dead Fred.
Yeah.
Dead Fred. So yeah, I just remember sort of enjoying that movie up until that end scene, and then just being completely lost. And I thought it was weird that they kissed, and that absolutely ruined the movie.
It
for
is a
me.
weird moment.
I didn't
It's-
like the movie after that.
It's weird because if it's like an imaginary friend, that shouldn't, like it would only be she wanted to do that, right? Then
Well,
he
the
moves on
friends-
to other people, so
The imaginary friends have the Freds.
yeah.
The Fred rules of imaginary friends. They have their own free will.
Yeah.
Like they just do whatever they want, which is why he's still back.
I bet she just had to say his name and he just added the kiss part for a little hey. Hey, like
Fred had it in a contract, just like Rick Mayall had it in
Yeah.
a contract.
Well, my problem is that I liked the Fred character as this platonic supporting character that was just there for her all the time. And
We
then
don't
when
have
they
enough of those.
when they kissed, I was like, oh, way to ruin the connection that they had. But then maybe that just speaks to how we as humans view kissing, and whoever directed that movie was just platonic friends, they should kiss on the mouth more often.
It is this weird, strange dream sequence where first she has to I think she has to battle an evil personification of her abusive boyfriend who, now that I'm remembering more bits, tries to get rid of Fred by making her take pills, and Fred is visibly decaying.
oh.
Not rotting away, he's just becoming weaker and weaker until she breaks free of this abusive prick's
Yeah.
manipulation, which leads to the dreamy sequence where first she has to overcome him, then she has to overcome the mega bitch, and then Fred rescues her, and then they do she is released from the mindscape. Is Bill Cipher to blame?
I think Bill Cipher's to blame.
I just want to touch on something you mentioned earlier when you were talking about the setup for Drop Dead Fred.
Yeah.
Is that you said her fiance dumps her, but it's not just that. If you remember, she forgets her lunch to work, then she gets fired, then she gets hit by a car, and then her fiance dumps her.
She does have a shit day.
It's
all coming back to me now.
She's the Joker.
And I'm just remembering,
is.
have you guys seen Paul Blart Mall Cop 2?
I
Yes.
saw number 1.
It's sad that I've seen...
Wait. Is it in a casino?
Yes.
Yes, I have.
You have seen
Yeah, I
that.
have seen it,
The
yeah.
if you remember, the opening to that movie is basically the same thing. Is just his wife breaks up with him that he just got married to at the end of the last movie. His wife divorced him after like a week. Then he has to go back and live with his mum. Then his mum dies, and now his daughter wants to move out, and he's just left alone and like sobbing.
Good.
I thought
Fuck Paul.
I thought that was the craziest, like, opening to a movie, but I've just realised that they were just copying Drop Dead Fred.
Yeah.
Was there 3 Paul Blats or just the 2?
Just two.
Just two so far.
They might be
I hope
making a
there's
third.
another
Hold
one.
your fingers crossed for Paul Blart Mall Cop
I'm
3D.
I'm sure Netflix has something in the store.
Oh,
If
they
they
gave so many Adam Sandler movies, they can give Kevin James another Paul Blart.
For the record, this is being recorded on April 2nd, Australian Day times.
So,
I only just so we're only just getting everyone's April Fool's jokes today from America.
yeah.
Have you seen Netflix's one?
No.
They have a video out. They've purchased the rights to Seth Rogen, the man.
Okay.
He's signed a contract. They own him mind, body, and soul.
Good.
Why would you want that? How much did they pay?
Apparently, he just signed the contract, and in the little thing, it's just Seth going over the contract, and he goes, "Well, if it worked for Adam Sandler, it'll work for me."
That's a good gag.
Yeah. See, I've seen like the Pornhub one.
Which is
Pornhub. It's just pictures of French horns.
my kind of porn.
Yeah.
Speaking of good gags,
Yeah.
do you guys remember any particular jokes from Drop Dead Fred?
No, I remember
His face got
the bit
flattened.
where he swears, because that's when I got cursed.
Ah.
Which I guess would be a lot of it, because of the way he refers to the mother.
He calls her the mega bitch once, and then he calls her the mega something else.
Right.
Like, it's just this bit, like, it's this build up, and then there's just this one big bit where she leaves the room and he turns to the woman and he goes, "It's the mega bitch!"
I mean, I know it's only PG, so it's...
Yeah. See, and when I watched it, I remember thinking that, like, this should be M. As a kid, I was very sensitive to age ratings.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
You guys are weird.
And I think that movie came out in a time where, like, a bunch of other movies that came out around that time were rated a little lower than I think they should. And if they had, I think if, just because there were I remember there being a bunch of sexual references and just a buttload of swearing.
Yeah.
A damn load. A heck load.
Well, with
You look at,
USPG, they're allowed to say certain words, but they're only allowed one fuck.
Yeah, that's...
Yeah, that's the dumbest thing, though. That's the American rating system.
I'm pretty sure this is under their rating system, since everyone in the film is American except Rick Mayall.
Yeah.
Well, it gets re-rated when it comes to Australia.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And here it's
but-
PG.
but I
Over
do
there
think
it's
it-
probably PG-13.
Yeah, I think PG-13, definitely. I remember one joke very vividly. So, it has to do with the mega bitch.
Of course.
Fred, she's in the kitchen, like, making a sandwich or something, and Fred falls on the floor, and she steps over him, and he looks directly up her skirt,
Right.
and says, "Ooh, cobwebs."
I remember that.
That's inappropriate.
And
Fucking genius.
And and I remember that joke so well, and it has nothing to do with the actual movie. So, as I said, my two best friends after I moved to Newcastle, that was their favourite movie.
It's a good film.
In second grade, after one of my friends had shown me that movie, oh, it might have been in third grade. Anyway, sometime in primary school, we were hanging out in the, like, sort of shed, and the shed, just to describe it, had it was like two areas, there was a wall in between.
Shed?
There was a witch there.
It was like a covered sort of center. If it was raining,
Was there a man in a coat? Did he show things to you? Show me on this
No.
doll! It's okay.
Although it kind of might be going in a direction similar to that.
Oh, fucking
but not like that. Not like that. So it was this weathered. It was like this weather coverage area. It was pretty small. 2 rooms with seats lining the walls. But then there was a wall in between the 2 rooms that had a doorway through it. and this is important. It's important to know the physicality of this space. So you need to imagine this.
I have.
So the seats run around the wall, right?
Yep.
So, but where there's the doorway between the two rooms, there's a gap in the seats because you have to be able to walk through the doorway.
Of course.
Alright.
So someone could theoretically stand with their feet on the seats on either side of the doorway, and then be like not touching the ground. Like they would be standing on the seats, and their doorway would be, and someone could theoretically slide under them. This isn't. Okay, so
Yeah, I can see where it's going, but yeah.
This wasn't even intentional. I can't remember how it happened.
Sure it wasn't, mate.
It wasn't. It's not even me. Actually, you might be right then, because I don't know what this guy's motivations were. But yeah. So anyway, my best friend, there was a girl standing there,
Of course.
and he somehow ended up underneath her.
Of course.
And then just immediately shouted, "Ooh, cobwebs!" And that's why.
Hello, police.
And
Yes,
he got put into detention for it.
Detention? That's a sex crime!
But he didn't, like, you have to understand, it wasn't intentional. I remember him
Fuck off, it wasn't intentional!
I remember him not doing that on purpose. But
The situation just naturally occurred.
it sounds so whack. Maybe it was just my bias towards my friend, and he actually was intentional, but I remember so distinctly this
Friend
being
might be
an
a straight.
accident.
You might want to start distancing yourself.
Dude, I don't talk to this guy anymore.
Good work. So the bit that I remember from Drop Dead Fred,
Uh-huh.
I remember him getting his face flattened. I'm not sure how he got flattened. I think he got, like, a bunch of people walked over him.
Sure.
But I distinctly remember seeing this weird Rick Mail with a big you know how in a cartoon when someone gets walked over and they get all
They
flattened?
go flat.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. Just a Rick Mail with a big plasticine head version of that. Mm-hmm. I don't know why I remember that, but that's what I remember. That and the bit where he gets hit by a truck.
Very good gags.
Was there a bit with monkey bars?
I don't remember.
I just remember monkey bars at one point.
I'm sure there was.
I remember there was a boat at some point. I distinctly remember the scene where he interacts with the other imaginary friends.
Yeah, because it's in a doctor's office and you get to see all the other kids looking over and be like, what the fuck?
Yeah, what is my imaginary friend doing?
They're interacting
So
with
true.
nothing. Even though it looks like I'm interacting with nothing. I'm very mature for a kid.
Wait.
Very self-aware.
What do the other imaginary friends look like? Just people?
No, they look as weird
One
as
of
Fred.
them is like a blue half of a skateboard.
But doesn't Fred look
No,
like
they're
just
not.
a dude?
One's a dude with like blue. You know how
He was blue.
You know,
I
one's
was-
got blue
I
hair
was
and a blue
describe-
outfit.
I was describing blue from Imagine Foster.
You were, yeah. One of them does have blue color schemes. They're all just dudes in
weird stuff.
and girls
Yeah.
in weird costumes.
One of them's this big red guy missing an arm. He's
Yeah,
a basketball
he's really good at
fanatic and he's
basketball.
really polite.
One's a big, hairy Hispanic bull man.
Yeah.
Oh.
And one's whatever Coco is.
Yeah. Just like...
A weird plane,
Coco.
aeroplane.
And then there's also
bird
Mojo Jojo.
thing. Yeah.
And did one of you guys say earlier that he kind of looks like the Joker, Drop Dead Fred?
He does a bit.
'Cause-
I think he looks more like the Riddler, personally.
Yeah, this is what, like, he kind
Yeah,
of,
fine,
when I
actually.
think about it, he's kind of the prototype of how I would think of the Joker, if I ever was to describe him. He's got the green jacket, kind of the crazy hair, and, you know, he's just kind of a weirdo.
He's definitely the
He just wants
diddler.
to watch the world.
I was right, there is a scene where Fred gets a big stretchy face.
Yeah, I
Oh,
remember
no.
that
It's terrifying,
very
isn't
well
it?
now.
Yeah, I see that as
Is
the
he
Riddler,
wearing
though.
a bathrobe? Or
No,
a
that's his
jacket?
suit.
Okay, it's a suit.
I'll see if I can't seem to find a full body picture. Here's a picture of just Fred looking sad. I think that's in the end
That's a
scene.
good suit.
Yeah, that's defo in the end.
I want that suit.
Yeah, okay, we'll buy Phoenix that suit.
Yay! I will be the Fred.
But yeah, one thing I seem to have in my memory, and I don't know why I've still got this in my memory, is they were going to remake Drop Dead Fred like a
Sure.
while back.
With who?
Russell Brand.
Okay,
The plan was to cast Russell Brand in the title role, and I think they were going to give Rick Mail a cameo,
sure.
but this was during
yes.
Russell Brand's minor career in Hollywood.
Yeah.
See, when you said Russell Brand, like, my first thought was, oh, well, I don't really want to see that movie. But that's kind of like the perfect casting, because I didn't really enjoy Drop Dead Fred originally, and so I feel like Russell Brand would be just enough of... Like, Russell Brand, as a figure to me, is someone that I find really funny, but makes me uncomfortable when I watch him in things. It's very specific. And I think that...
Why do you
that
find it uncomfortable?
I don't know, dude. It's just something about him.
Probably because he's a weird half goth.
Yeah, but he kind of
I like
reminds
that.
me of Fred in that way. When I was watching him, I didn't really feel comfortable with the Fred character because I just thought he was too crazy. Like, I thought he might do anything.
Oh, jeez.
He's a man.
I can't handle it.
Can't handle it.
I'd cast, if I had to recast Fred, either James Corden.
Oh my god.
I realise that the majority of the world's experience with James Corden is shitty talk show host.
And voice of Peter Rabbit in...
I've seen James Corden act. James
Yeah.
Corden has great comedic timing.
I saw the Emoji Movie.
But I've actually
voice-
seen him act.
Was he High Five?
It was high five.
Oh, classic.
For a while, James Corden was in a Broadway play, One Man, Two Governors. It was
Oh, yeah.
amazing. He was quite good in it. And before that, he was briefly on Doctor Who for like 2 episodes.
Yeah, he's good. I work at a theatre and I've been seeing segments of Peter Rabbit, and that is a movie that the trailer makes it look like this super obnoxious movie just full of like generic pop songs and this main character who's a complete dick to everyone but is the hero because he's a guy or whatever. And like it is that. But James Corden is actually really funny and there are some good gags in that movie.
I'd cast Kate Blanchett.
Good, very good.
As
I
Drop
like
Dead
that.
Fred.
Yeah.
Yeah.
She's Australian.
So?
This
She's
is
not
irrelevant.
British.
I don't care. Fine, Amy Winehouse, reviver from the dead.
These are some good casting. Have you put much, like, how much thought have
I'm
you
just
put into this?
picking people based off of who can I pretend is Fred?
Whenever somebody,
And then my brain goes, Kate Blanchett. I'm like, yes.
whenever somebody asks me, like, what my, who I would cast in a role, it doesn't matter what the role is, I just immediately say Hugh Jackman.
That's fair.
Huge jacked man.
Huge jacked man, huge actor man.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hello, I am Jack Hugh Man.
He's getting pretty old. I reckon.
No, he's fine.
He's-
He'll just eat the soul of another poor child and regain his youth again.
But I reckon that would be an interesting take on Drop Dead Fred if he was this jacked, like, handsome dude.
Get on, mate. I'm Drop Dead Fred.
That might make the end scene where they make out less uncomfortable.
They don't make out. They just have like a little peck.
Yeah, but still, like that part. I think part of the reason that peck made me so uncomfortable is because
They didn't make out with full frontal.
Yeah, no, that's no. I'm kidding.
Full frontal, very graphic, show penetration.
Oh, jeez.
Absolutely. Rated
Is
PG.
is
for
there-
kids.
They have to learn, Phoenix.
he was a friend. He was her friend when they were like kids,
Yeah, like small children.
and so it kind of it felt weird to me.
Yeah, that is weird. That's like Woody Allen sort of stuff.
Yeah,
You know,
very. Was
adopt
that
a li-
movie directed by Woody Allen?
Adopt a little girl, raise her, and then when she's 18, divorce your wife and marry her.
Who would you cast as Drop Dead Fred, Phoenix?
I would cast... I have no idea.
I thought you were building up to something then.
No,
While you're
never.
thinking about it,
Jamie Oliver.
Have you seen... There's a video of him that I saw recently. I don't know if I tagged you in it. But he's like, just showing these kids, they're like... He's like, oh, here's what's made of... What chicken nuggets are made of.
Oh, yeah.
Look, it's just all made of the bits of the chicken you don't like. And
Yeah.
he just blends it up and he goes, and then we cut it into our own little shape, we crumb it, we bread it, and then we fry it. Now, who would still want to eat that? And all the
they
kids
all
put their
raise
hands
their
up.
Yeah.
hands.
I remember that show being on air.
There was this lovely bit, the one version I saw of it, and like he goes, now who'd still eat that? And they all put their hands up, and it just goes, all around me, from me. And it goes black and white, and he just looks so depressed. And it's like, fuck you, Jamie.
Yeah, that was-
fuck you for not being
That was
funny.
when he went around America trying to get them to fix their cafeterias up, and it didn't work because it's America. It's like, here's how you make cheap, healthy food for the kids, and the kids were like, but we get chips and nuggets. Yeah. We don't want your health.
Chicken nuggets, mate.
Keep your health over in England, in jolly old England. We'll have our burgers and diabetes.
Oh, hello, it's me, Jamie Oliver.
I wanted to ask this question for a bit now, but I feel like you guys might have already discussed this on an episode about Foster's Home for Imaginary Friends.
We've only done one, so go ahead. We might not.
What is your, like, did you have an imaginary friend?
Yes.
Have you talked
I don't think
about
we
this?
talked about our own personal imaginary friends.
Oh, okay.
So
Sailor
you can-
Mars.
That was your imaginary friend, with Sailor
Yeah,
Mars.
she was cute.
That's so good.
Your imaginary friend was an actual fictional character.
Yes.
That's just sad.
There was a lot of fictional characters, actually. We had Nightcrawler, he was rad.
We had him.
Yeah.
He stayed with us through
He just
Yeah.
hung out, you know.
Me, Nightcrawler, Sailor Mars, we all went on adventures. But I had my own imaginary world that I used to go to, filled
Yeah.
with imaginary people and movies and stuff.
I did this too. Did you have much?
I know I'm going to sound lame by saying this. I didn't so much have an imaginary friend. I did have one, but I didn't talk about it to anyone because I was like, well, this is probably weird.
Sure.
That's so good.
Very self-aware.
You're the self-aware little kid.
Yeah.
That's like,
I was like, this is my imaginary friend. I must not tell anyone of yours.
You're the one that sees your imaginary friend talking to someone else's one and it's like, what's he doing talking to no one?
I think his name was Grimlow or something.
Of course.
It wasn't a pleasant thing. Nothing that comes out of my brain is ever pleasant.
Add him to D&D, Grimlow the Destroyer.
As evidenced by my creation of Flyboy, who is just Spider-Man's sidekick with green underoos and a black furry bodysuit. It's just unpleasant. And I'm fairly sure Grimlow was some kind of demon thing before
That
I
makes
knew
sense.
what demons were.
See, this is interesting because
So I may have been haunted. Who knows? Sorry.
while I did have sort of what Phoenix is describing as this sort of like imaginary world I used to play around in. I was very aware that none of it was like real, like not like I didn't. You know, I mean, I guess it's the same
No,
as having
Phoenix.
an imaginary friend.
He's just shaking his head. He's like, no.
But like I would act out as the characters. Like I wouldn't interact with the characters. I would be the characters. Whereas and I would have a bunch of conversations with myself. But I did very briefly. I have memories of having an imaginary friend who was. As like, it's funny you say yours was a demon. Mine was like a supervillain. Like
How good.
it kind of
The bad guys.
yeah. I think it speaks to the Dark Kermit meme, you know, Evil Kermit,
yeah.
where it's just like I had this figure who sort of embodied any like evil thoughts I had, so it was much easier to like not think about them or externalize
You realise this
them.
is making both of us sound like
You
serial
realise this
killers.
is put on here, so if you kill someone, we've got the evidence.
Yeah.
Well, you know, it was
We'll testify against
Excuse me,
you.
officer. Here's the evidence that Dom is probably a murderer.
Yeah. But I mean, I think what it was more about was making me feel better about myself. I think having a person who I knew was like objectively morally wrong and being able to know that and like justify my own beliefs compared to this guy made me feel like a nicer human being. I think it's also part of the reason I enjoy professional wrestling is because a lot of time in professional wrestling is very distinct moral, like heel or face, good guy, bad guy conflicts that it relaxes me. It's less shades of grey.
Professional
Although, you
wrestling
know,
taught me the meaning of the term respect.
Really?
That's not even a joke.
It wasn't RESPCT.
No.
by Aretha Franklin.
Like, the idea of giving people respect and earning it was taught to me by The Undertaker.
I was going to say John Cena.
No, John Cena had a role in it because I remember when John Cena debuted, The
Yeah.
Undertaker was like, you did good out there, kid. You've earned my respect.
Yeah.
And then The Undertaker would go around and he'd beat people up and be like, you survived, you did good, you fought well, you nearly beat me, you've got my respect, mate. And I was like, earning respect. That's a neat concept.
Tying pro wrestling into Drop Dead Fred, did you ever like have any imaginary wrestling matches?
Of course,
as a
all the
kid?
time.
Yeah, all the time, right?
No.
No.
I wasn't a wrestling kid.
That's fair.
He was a normal.
It was a normal.
Yeah, well, what I'm about to say is going to wipe that off the record.
Okay.
So you know how, like, say, Foster's Home or even Drop Dead Fred, the imaginary friend was someone who would stand with the person and they'd have conversations with, like, as if they were another... That wasn't me. In my mind, my imaginary friends all lived in, like, a little dark box area, and when I wanted to contact them, I would imagine the area where they would all look down on me from up above and talk to me.
That is terrifying.
Unless I went to my own imaginary world, Cerulean Island, where I could walk and talk to them face to face. But any other time from that, they had to contact me from up on high.
Cerulean Island.
Yeah.
I feel like you might have made contact with God.
I don't think he made contact with God. I'm still very firmly convinced that something traumatic happened to him in his childhood, and this is the remnants of
Hello.
repression.
I kind of have something similar, a similar story.
Jesus!
So it was like a black box in the sky,
Yeah,
but
that's
not
terrifying!
physically in the sky, but like mentally in the sky. A black box with all my imaginary friends living in it.
It was a box.
Well, not a box, like a
Just
black
like a void?
void, yeah.
So this is what I'm getting at. As a kid, Ben is looking at us.
We're the normals,
terrified.
I bet.
As a kid, I had recurring nightmares about this figure I called Boo. Now, Boo was this giant old lady who wanted to hurt me, but she was my babysitter,
Sure.
and my parents would let her into the house and let her babysit me, but I was terrified of her and I would run away
course.
from her. And I only ever once had a Boo dream. That's what I used to call them. I only ever once had a Boo dream where I didn't get caught. But every single Boo dream where I did get caught, which, is what happened, I would get, she would get to me, be about to do whatever she was going to do to me, and then it would just cut, and then I would be in this mysterious black void, just floating, and these, ethereal creatures above me would talk to me and ask me questions.
See, I get all this because I've had similar recurring nightmares.
Phoenix.
I think you've both been...
Except my recurring nightmares weren't an old lady, it was a person who shed their skin.
Wow.
Yeah.
I think you've both got some trauma going on. I was going to ask
And then you'd wake up and everything would be dark and there'd just be the people there to I get it. We're normal. You're the weird
I
one.
think I need to go talk
Where
to a
was your
therapist.
ethereal god dream, bro?
It's like a letter to Hogwarts. I just didn't get it. Well, on that depressing note, I've been the odd one out.
I've been Dom.
I've been Phoenix. Have you had ethereal god dreams? Let us know in the comments.
Contact Phoenix and Ben at From the Hat Podcast.
Yeah, we need
Look
to
at
know
him.
if we're
Even plugs.
normal.
He even plugs us when he could be plugging himself.
I haven't
To contact Phoenix and Ben, email them at fromahatpodcast@gmail.com or go to our Facebook or Twitter. Links are in the description.